So we're doing this is our Poppin' Smoke video of Bucharest, which is basically I'm about to leave Bucharest, continue the journey to other locations, doing a walking tour here of Old Town as we discuss what is Romania and Bucharest. So as we go, you're going to see a lot of people and things going on behind me because this is basically the hub of Bucharest, the downtown area is what we should call it. And I'm just be talking about my general impressions of Bucharest, of Romania, and the people here, and what everything entails in terms of basically just coming here. We're gonna find what you're gonna get, what you're gonna expect. So one of the things that's very interesting, first of all, is that Bucharest has the second fastest internet in the world. At least Romania does, right after Korea, South Korea, that is. So in terms of you're going to get really quick internet. In fact, my little chip I bought for the phone is basically 60 gigs for 55 lei. Get your own phone number and you get 400 international minutes. It's a really good deal. So, I mean, that's hard to beat. There's no texting though, so that's kind of, I got a note sheet here, just go through the notes. We continue to walk through Old Town here. The next thing I would say is that 50% of the Romanians smoke like chimneys. There is constant, tons of smoke. You just can't get away from it. They smoke everywhere. It's really terrible, unfortunately, and there's really nothing you can really do about it. It's just kind of cigarette smoke everywhere. It's not a great thing. The electronic cigarette market hasn't really hit here yet. So sorry, I'm doing a little duck and weave there. Yeah, people are video bombing me as I'm going here. It's okay. Another thing that's really interesting about Romanians is they adore Coke. They love Coca-Cola. It's like 90% of the country is infatuated with Coca-Cola products. However, the restaurants serve Pepsi because it's cheaper. Makes sense, but I've seen more Coca-Cola signs here than any place else in anywhere I've ever been. It's incredible. I'm not just talking about Old Town, I'm talking about Romania in general. So that's something that's very interesting. At the same time, the reason that is because they started in 1994. Coca-Cola brought a factory here, brand new shiny factory, and the Romanians loved it, and that kind of, I think, induced them to Coca-Cola, especially after the fall of the Soviet Union back in '89. So we're getting a little tight here as I'm walking, but as I continue, you can see the restaurants behind me. It's all restaurants. The Old Town is basically a miniature Las Vegas. It is strip clubs that are basically massage parlors that are brothels, gambling, restaurants, and clubs. Now, what's very interesting also is they're not allowed to smoke inside anymore. A couple years ago, there was this fire at this club. A lot of young people died, so now they smoke outside. Well, it's sort of outside. They open up. They got some windows, and then everybody kind of does the whole lean and smoke thing. Well, okay, so it's kind of smoking outside, but not really, and the smoke comes back inside. Can you tell I really don't like the smoke thing? But anyway, so another thing that's here to find that's really a negative here in Romania and Bucharest in general is the fact that the customer service is terrible. I mean, absolutely terrible. You cannot go and find a place where you're going to get good customer service. At least I haven't yet. I've heard of some places, but there really aren't any places that you're going to get good customer service here. It's just, they just don't know. They don't care. There's a general melancholy and lethargic nature to the service industry jobs here. They're just absolutely, no one's got any hope or prospect of hope. It's really depressing. Everyone thinks that they're just going to basically be without an income for the rest of their lives, and they don't know what they're going to do, they don't know where they're going. Oh, everything's so hard. There's a lot of kind of like, oh, life sucks. Well, it's what you make of, and you gotta You got to succeed and prosper. And there are lots of people out there that are making it just fine. But the fact of the matter is that there also are not. So another interesting thing about Bucharest is that the police sirens are the same as in the United States, which is really fun. Well, not fun, but it's good to, you hear woo, woo, woo. It's like, well, there you go. Your emergency crews are basically the same as in the United States. So that's a nice thing. There's a lot of electric bikes and scooters that are being utilized, which is really nice. However, they're quiet, just like a Prius or something. It drives up next to you, you don't even know it. So that's something else. Another thing on the negative side is that basically a third of all the sexy webcams that are out there are from Romania. And I'm sure a huge percentage of them are coming from Bucharest here as well. So that's another interesting thing. There are also thermal baths in Bucharest, which is very nice as well. So the baths are, I haven't been there yet, but I'm going to go, hopefully. That video should come out before this one. This is probably going to be my last video of Bucharest, so we'll see what happens. Now, another thing that's really interesting is Romanians are extremely religious. So when they come across a church, they actually cross themselves. It's an Orthodox religion, mainly the Orthodox religion here. They'll cross themselves even when they see a church, or actually come across it, like as if they walk past like a black cat or something. So that's sort of a interesting thing, which is kind of cool to see. Even when they're on a motorcycle, on a bicycle, whatever, they see a church, they cross themselves. So it's interesting. And then also, another thing you're going to experience here is that there are not a lot of wild dogs in the streets. That's a good thing, but it's an interesting story as to what happened. Essentially, it's a tragic story. A young child was brutally mauled by wild dogs in like a park, and the city said that's enough, and they went around, euthanized, and rounded up all the dogs. So no wild dogs. There are a lot of wild cats though. So the wild cat population is doing well. So that's very kind of interesting too. But as for most places, it takes a tragedy to make something happen for the city or the people to do something about it, essentially. So on top of that, the Romanians really follow their laws very strictly. They don't if they're at a crosswalk, they don't cross even though they could. They'll wait for that green little light on that guy to cross the crosswalk, which is a good thing. That's good. But you're standing there and everybody else is standing there and like, the hell, what's going on? Are we waiting for a parade? No, we're not waiting for a parade. We're just waiting for the little green man to tell us to go. And it's kind of it's only 10 feet across, but they can make it. So very interesting that they'll wait. No traffic, but they'll wait. The boulevards are nice and big and broad and open. I noticed that it's kind of a nice thing. And almost everyone speaks English, which is fantastic. It makes it a lot easier on the travelers and the tourists like me or whoever else is coming around. There's an example of your mini Vegas behind me. It's also very safe. You're not going to find a lot of crazy people or homeless people out on the street, which is a good thing. There is a police presence, and they're doing their job, I think, decently well. I haven't really seen any crime or noticed anything. I've heard some stories, but I've been here for a while and I haven't seen anything yet. There's also not a lot of homeless people on the streets either. So that's something else that's a good thing too. There are a couple crazy guys walking around over here and there, but they're generally they won't hurt you. So what else can I tell you? Basically, the two negatives are the smoking and the lethargic nature of everyone with their customer service skills, the melancholy sort of, that's just not great. I think they're making a lot of progress, though. I think this country is on the upswing, even though everyone else says, oh, it's so terrible, it's poor, it's miserable. I think they're, compared to, let's say, 1989, when the Soviet Union fell, this place has made a lot of improvements, and I'm sure 30 years from now it'll be even better than it is now. So we're popping smoke on Bucharest. be going. I don't know where exactly yet. You'll find out in the next videos. Stay tuned, and signing off for Flashback Traveler. So, I'm doing, this is our Poppin' Smoke video.